Have you ever done everything you were told to do? Cut back on salt drink, more water, choose what you believed were healthier foods, and still felt that quiet drop in your stomach when your lab results came back worse? Have you ever looked at a report showing your creatinine slowly creeping up or your GFR slipping down and wondered how this could be happening when in your mind you were doing everything right? Here's the hard truth most people hear too. Late kidney damage doesn't hurt when it begins. It doesn't cause pain, it doesn't send warning signals, and it doesn't interrupt your daily life. It works silently hour after hour, day after day in the background, until one day a lab report tells you something has changed and suddenly the problem feels very real. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and after years of watching patients sit across from me in disbelief, I can tell you this with certainty: kidney failure almost never comes from one dramatic mistake. It comes from small everyday choices repeated over time, especially with foods people believe are harmless or even good for them. And this is where the danger quietly escalates, because while many foods labeled as healthy are slowly increasing kidney stress, inflammation, and toxic buildup, a few overlooked ordinary foods, the kind sitting on grocery store shelves right now, can actually reduce that burden when they're used the right way. That contrast is what makes this conversation so important. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 common dried fruits that modern research links to lower kidney workload, better filtration, and reduced toxin buildup. Not supplements, not expensive superfoods, but familiar foods most people either ignore or unknowingly eat in ways that cancel out their benefits. And I want you to stay with me until the end, because one simple mistake I see every single day can wipe out more than half of the kidney protection these foods offer, and correcting it could meaningfully change how long your kidneys stay healthy. Let's start with the first dried fruit, because this one is often underestimated, quietly ignored, and yet it's one of the most consistently supported by kidney research: prunes, or dried plums. I've had patients laugh when I mention prunes, thinking of them only as something for digestion, not realizing they've been overlooking a food that can meaningfully reduce kidney stress when used the right way. I remember a 68-year-old patient who told me, "Doctor, I eat clean, I avoid junk food, but my creatinine keeps climbing." When we looked closer, the issue wasn't what he was cutting out, it was what he was missing. His kidneys were overwhelmed by waste products like creatinine, blood, urea, nitrogen, and uric acid, the very markers doctors use to measure how hard your kidneys are working just to keep up. Here's where prunes become interesting. Large population-based nutrition studies published in 2024 found that people who regularly consume dried fruits, especially prunes, showed lower levels of these waste markers over time. In simple terms, their kidneys weren't struggling as much to filter toxins from the blood. The reason isn't magic, it's chemistry. Prunes are rich in polyphenols and resveratrol, powerful antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress inside kidney cells. Oxidative stress is like internal rust. It slowly damages the tiny filtering units in your kidneys, especially if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or years of metabolic strain. By calming that oxidative damage, prunes help protect those filters from scarring and long-term decline. But there's another layer most people never think about. Prunes are also high in fiber and contain natural sorbitol, which gently increases stool and urine output. That matters because fiber traps toxins in the gut before they ever reach the bloodstream, meaning fewer harmful substances arrive at the kidneys in the first place. Think of it like reducing traffic before it reaches a busy highway, instead of trying to fix congestion after it's already jammed. Research from U.S. universities has shown that this gut-level detox effect is one reason prune consumers often show more stable kidney numbers over time. Now, how you eat prunes matters just as much as eating them. The kidney-friendly approach is soaking about 5 to 10 prunes overnight and eating them with breakfast, ideally alongside protein or healthy fat. This slows sugar absorption, prevents blood sugar spikes that quietly damage kidney filters, and makes prunes easier to digest, especially for older adults. Eating them dry in large amounts or late at night can cancel out these benefits and even create new problems. And this is where many people get it wrong. They hear prunes are healthy and assume more is better. It isn't. Potassium content and digestive effects mean moderation is key. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because prunes mainly reduce the workload on your kidneys And there's another dried fruit that goes even deeper, working through your gut and blood vessels in a way most people completely overlook. If prunes help by easing the workload on your kidneys, the next dried fruit works in a quieter, deeper way that most people never connect to kidney health at all: raisins. When I bring up raisins, many patients immediately think of sugar and assume there's something to avoid, especially if they're older or managing blood pressure or blood sugar. I once spoke with a woman in her early 70s who told me she avoided raisins completely because she thought they were too sweet to be safe, yet her kidney numbers kept drifting in the wrong direction. What she didn't realize is that her kidneys weren't just overwhelmed by waste, they were being constantly stressed by inflammation and oxidative damage coming from another source entirely: her gut and blood vessels. Here's where raisins become surprisingly powerful. Raisins are dried grapes, and when grapes are dried, many of their protective plant compounds become more concentrated. Large nutritional studies published in 2024 found that people who consumed raisins in moderate controlled portions had lower markers of oxidative stress and better regulation of kidney-related waste products like creatinine and blood urea nitrogen. Oxidative stress is one of the silent drivers of kidney decline. It damages the tiny blood vessels and filtering cells that your kidneys rely on to do their job efficiently. Raisins contain antioxidants such as resveratrol and tannins that help neutralize this damage, slowing the wear and tear that quietly builds year after year. But the real advantage of raisins goes beyond antioxidants. This is where many people miss the bigger picture. Your gut and your kidneys are closely linked, and when your gut becomes inflamed from excess sugar, processed foods, or poor digestion, toxins leak into the bloodstream, forcing your kidneys to filter far more harmful material. Raisins support beneficial gut bacteria and help calm gut inflammation, which means fewer toxins ever reach your kidneys in the first place. Think of it as fixing the source of the problem instead of constantly asking your kidneys to clean up the mess. Research from U.S. institutions has shown that improving gut health can significantly reduce kidney workload over time, especially in older adults. Raisins also provide magnesium and small amounts of potassium minerals that help stabilize blood pressure. That matters because high blood pressure slowly damages the delicate blood vessels inside the kidneys, even when you don't feel it happening. Used correctly, raisins support healthier circulation without overwhelming the kidneys. The key word here is correctly. A kidney-friendly portion is about a quarter cup eaten with a meal or alongside protein or healthy fat to prevent blood sugar spikes. Eating raisins by the handful throughout the day does the opposite and cancels out their benefits. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Have you ever eaten them straight from the bag without thinking twice? If so, you're not alone. And yet, even when gut health improves and blood pressure stabilizes, there's still another layer of protection your kidneys desperately need, one that works at the cellular level to slow long-term damage, and that's where the next dried fruit comes in. By now you can see how easing kidney workload and calming gut inflammation can slow damage. But there's still a deeper problem many people don't realize is happening: tiny injuries inside kidney cells themselves. That's where the third dried fruit comes in, and it's one most people eat without ever understanding what it's really doing. Dried apricots. I once worked with a man in his early 70s whose blood pressure and blood sugar were reasonably controlled, yet his kidney function kept slipping year after year. He wasn't doing anything dramatically wrong. His kidneys were simply being worn down at the cellular level, one microscopic injury at a time, something you'll never feel until the damage is already accumulated. This is where dried apricots stand out. Research reviewed in 2024 shows that people who regularly consume dried apricots tend to show lower markers of kidney stress and better preservation of kidney function over time. The key lies in a plant compound called apigenin, which has been studied for its ability to protect kidney cells from oxidative damage and chronic inflammation. Think of oxidative stress like tiny cracks forming in a building's foundation. You don't see them at first, but over years they weaken the entire structure. Apigenin helps slow that process by neutralizing harmful molecules before they injure kidney tissue, which is especially important for older adults living with diabetes, hypertension, or long-term medication use. But cellular protection isn't the only reason dried apricots matter. They're also rich in dietary fiber, which plays a crucial role in the gut-kidney connection. When digestion slows or gut bacteria become imbalanced, more toxins end up in the bloodstream, and your kidneys have to filter every bit of it. Fiber helps move waste out through the digestive tract before it ever reaches the kidneys, reducing the constant pressure on those delicate filters. For seniors who struggle with constipation or sluggish digestion, this alone can make a noticeable difference in how hard the kidneys have to work day after day. There's another benefit that often gets overlooked: immune support. When waste products build up in the blood, immune function weakens, making infections more likely. Infections place sudden heavy stress on the kidneys and can accelerate long-term damage. Dried apricots provide vitamin A, which supports immune defenses and helps reduce that added strain. It's a quiet form of protection, but over time it matters. Of course, how you eat dried apricots makes all the difference. A kidney-friendly portion is about 5 to 8 halves eaten with meals rather than on an empty stomach, and paired with healthy fats like nuts to improve absorption and stabilize blood sugar. Hydration is essential because dried apricots contain oxalates that need water to be flushed safely. Eating large amounts without enough fluids can work against you instead of helping. But even when kidney cells are protected and inflammation is lower, there's still one powerful factor that can undo all of this if it's not controlled: blood pressure. And that brings us to the next dried fruit, one that many people fear because of its sweetness, yet may be one of the most misunderstood tools for protecting your kidneys. Once kidney cells are protected and inflammation is under control, there is still one force that can quietly undo all of that progress if it's ignored: blood pressure. And this is where the fourth dried fruit comes in, one that many people instinctively avoid because of its sweetness, yet often misunderstand: dates. I've seen this pattern many times. A patient tells me, "Doctor, I stay away from sweet foods, but their blood pressure remains unstable and their kidney function keeps declining." What they don't realize is that refined sugar and natural sugar are not the same problem. And for the kidneys, how sugar is packaged matters more than people think. Dates are different from processed sweets because their natural sugars come bundled with fiber, antioxidants, and essential minerals. Studies reviewed in 2024 show that moderate consumption of dates is associated with better blood pressure regulation and reduced oxidative stress, both of which are critical for kidney protection. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of kidney damage in older adults because it slowly injures the tiny blood vessels that feed the kidney's filtering units. You don't feel this damage happening, but over time it scars those filters and permanently reduces their ability to clean the blood. Dates are naturally rich in potassium and magnesium minerals that help relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and keep blood pressure from spiking unpredictably. There's also a powerful antioxidant effect at work here. Dates contain flavonoids, carotenoids, and phenolic compounds that help neutralize free radicals inside kidney tissue. Free radicals are one of the hidden drivers of long-term kidney decline, especially in people living with diabetes, hypertension, or years of medication use. By reducing oxidative stress, dates help protect the glomeruli, the tiny filtration units inside the kidneys, from cumulative damage that adds up silently over the years. Fiber plays another important role. The fiber in dates supports healthy gut bacteria, strengthening the gut-kidney connection. A healthier gut produces fewer inflammatory compounds, meaning fewer toxins enter the bloodstream for the kidneys to filter. Fiber also helps move waste out through the digestive system, reducing the overall load placed on the kidneys. For older adults who struggle with constipation or slow digestion, this alone can make a noticeable difference in daily kidney stress. But this is where most people go wrong. Dates are helpful only when portion size and timing are respected. A kidney-friendly serving is 1 to 2 dates at a time, ideally eaten with protein or healthy fats like nuts or yogurt to slow sugar absorption. Eating dates in large quantities or on an empty stomach can spike blood sugar and cancel out their benefits. Hydration is equally important because water helps the kidneys process the minerals dates contain safely. Ask yourself honestly, have you ever eaten several dates in a row because they felt natural and harmless? Dates can be a powerful ally for blood pressure and kidney health, but they're not the final piece of the puzzle. Even with stable circulation and lower oxidative stress, there's still one overlooked factor that determines how efficiently your body removes waste, and it's something most people dismiss as just a digestive issue, when in reality it can decide the future of your kidneys. When blood pressure is finally steadier and oxidative stress is under control, there's one last factor that quietly decides how hard your kidneys have to work every single day, how efficiently your body gets rid of waste. And this is where the fifth dried fruit comes in, one that many people overlook or dismiss as just a sweet snack: figs. I've met older patients who did everything right on paper medication, diet, hydration, yet still struggled with rising creatinine. When we talked longer, a pattern emerged. Digestion was slow, bowel movements were irregular, and waste was lingering in the body longer than it should. Their kidneys were doing extra work simply because elimination wasn't happening efficiently elsewhere. This is exactly where figs shine. Clinical and nutrition studies have shown that regular moderate fig consumption is associated with improved kidney-related blood markers, including creatinine, blood urea nitrogen, and uric acid. The reason lies in figs' unique combination of fiber, antioxidants, and minerals. Fiber plays a critical role by helping move metabolic waste out through the digestive tract before it re-enters the bloodstream. When waste sits in the gut too long, toxins are reabsorbed and sent right back to the kidneys to be filtered again. Figs help break that cycle, easing the burden on kidney filtration day after day. Antioxidants in figs, including phenolic compounds and flavonoids, add another layer of protection. These compounds help neutralize free radicals that slowly damage kidney tissue over time, especially in people with diabetes, hypertension, or age-related metabolic stress. Think of oxidative stress as internal wear that never stops unless something actively slows it down. Figs help apply that brake, protecting the delicate filtering units inside the kidneys from cumulative injury. Minerals matter here too. Figs provide potassium, magnesium, and calcium, which support healthy circulation and blood pressure regulation. Stable blood pressure means less strain on the glomeruli, the tiny filters that determine how efficiently your kidneys clean the blood. When those filters are protected, kidney function declines more slowly even as we age. For many seniors, this combination of better elimination, lower inflammation, and steadier circulation is what finally allows kidney numbers to stabilize. But just like the other dried fruits, figs only help when used correctly. A kidney-friendly portion is about 4 to 6 dried figs, ideally eaten with protein or healthy fats to slow sugar absorption. Hydration is essential because figs contain small amounts of oxalates that need water to be flushed safely. Eating large amounts without enough fluids can work against you instead of helping. Be honest with yourself. Have you ever treated figs like candy because they felt natural? Used properly, figs don't just support digestion, they reduce kidney workload, improve waste removal, and protect filtration over time. And when you step back and look at all 5 dried fruits together, something important becomes clear. Kidney protection isn't about one miracle food, but about small, consistent choices working together. And that brings us to the final takeaway, the part that determines whether these foods truly help you or quietly fail to make a difference at all. Before you move on with your day, I want you to hear this clearly. If you're dealing with rising creatinine, declining GFR, or even early kidney disease, it does not mean you failed, and it does not mean it's too late. Your kidneys are resilient organs, and when you give them the right support consistently and thoughtfully, they can often stabilize and function better than you were led to believe. You don't need perfection. You don't need extreme diets or expensive supplements. What matters most are small, informed choices repeated every day, choices that reduce stress on your kidneys instead of quietly adding to it. The 5 dried fruits we talked about today, when eaten in the right portions, at the right time, and with proper hydration, can become simple tools that work with your body, not against it. Pair them with balanced meals, listen to how your body responds, and always respect the guidance of your healthcare provider, especially if you have advanced kidney disease or potassium restrictions. Kidney care is not about fear, it's about awareness and consistency. If this video helped you understand your kidneys a little better, I encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it later. Kidney health is not something you fix once, it's something you revisit, refine, and protect over time. And if you want to keep learning how to care for your kidneys using clear, evidence-based medical information, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Every week, I share practical insights designed to help you protect kidney function, lower unnecessary stress on your body, and make smarter health decisions as you age. Most importantly, remember this: kidney damage often develops silently, but so does healing. When you choose better habits today, you're giving your kidneys a chance to work more efficiently tomorrow, next year, and for many years to come. You are not powerless in this process. Stay informed, stay consistent, and take care of yourself. Your kidneys are counting on you.